In your own words, just want to say what cricket in general just means to you.
I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Like it's my life, I suppose, but yeah. The name came about at a dinner conversation with my parents. I remember at the time there was like a big Tats Lotto draw.
And now for tonight's Saturday Lotto.
And it was all over the news. And one of the questions that we put around the table was, what would you buy if we won? And both me and my brother Dean instantly said, we'd love to build a cricket ground or a football ground that we could play with. And my mum said, I've got a name that we could use for like the property or the farm that we could buy. So mum's maiden name being Bridges and dad's surname being Black, she said I'd like to call it Blackbridge. As you would expect, we didn't win Tats Lotto that night, and mum's passing comment was, oh well, it looks like the backyard will just have to do till then. So from that point on, me and my brother made a little sign named Blackbridge, and basically going forward it was known as the Blackbridge Cricket Ground. I'm Paul Bridges Black and I'm the president and founder of the Blackbridge Cricket Club. So we played our first game in 2008. My local club at the time was looking to host a pre-season friendly or a practice match, and we could only muster up about 4 or 5 players. So the match was going to be cancelled. I got in contact with some mates at other clubs and they were in the same position, and it ended up being an amalgamation of 3 or 4 different clubs. And the question was asked, well, what club name are we going to play as? And then someone just sort of like, I suppose a light bulb went and said, why don't we play as Blackbridge from when we were children? And it just sort of snowballed from there, and we got uniforms and a quick little logo made at the time, and we ran from there. And it was, I suppose, a bit more of a novelty on the day. And then fast forward a couple more years and everyone sort of spoke about how they really enjoyed that and how they wanted to do it again. And then we just started putting some more plans in place. So now we've elevated to the striped blazers, the hooped caps, and we try to find a unique balance between the contemporary measures of what the game has today and those traditional aspects, and try and merge them as best we can.
Blackbridge Cricket Club was created in the backyard, just playing, classic backyard cricket as kids. Paul, Dean, Marshall and I. It's Paul's passion project, which has grown to what it is today, and it's great to be up here in Walhalla playing a local game today.
Myself and a few others, we went up to Walhalla for the day just to have a look at the town. We were aware that there was a cricket ground there, but none of us had ever seen it before. We did the trek up the hill, and I suppose by the time we got up the top, we were quite out of breath, but it was a really nice feeling when you get to the top and you see the openness of the ground. It was a little bit underdone, it hadn't been mowed, some of the weeds were starting to grow back, and it looked like at times that the bush was trying to reclaim part of the ground. Went back down to the post office, spoke to one of the staff members there who put me in contact with someone who was trying to maintain the ground. Got in contact with Brian Brewer, who was the president at the time.
When the Walhalla Cricket Club regrouped in 2017, I put my hand up as the first president, and we put a hell of a lot of work and effort into the ground, and now we're holding our own.
He got myself on the committee. We had a discussion about what the Walhalla Cricket Club was about, and they made it clear that they don't have really any purpose for an actual cricket team. The cricket club itself just looks to restore and maintain the ground. And Blackbridge being a touring team, we've got a team, but we don't have a ground. And I thought that would be a great relationship to move forward, that perhaps we could be like a resident club for the venue, and that when other teams approach Walhalla to play some games up there, that we could effectively be the home team.
Because the 29ers are playing Blackbridge for the first time, it might be an annual event where we reciprocate those clubs in Melbourne at our ground. So it might become an annual event for the Blackbridge Cricket Club. It's an experience for their club, and we'll continue to strengthen that relationship.
The short-term plans for Blackbridge are just sort of to expand our playing base, reach out and see who we can attract. We'd like to get perhaps a second team up in the Mid-Year Cricket Association. In terms of longer plans, we've got a team that we're chatting to in New Zealand who's looking to come out here next summer. And the plan would be to go back to New Zealand the following year for a return fixture and building that real sort of social cricket network. I suppose the big plans for us would be that to combine it with an Ashes year in the UK, that we could go and do a playing tour over there. The proudest moment for me personally, it might not be reflective of the role of president, but it was the opportunity to present both James and Marshall with their caps at the Walhalla game. We'd been talking for approximately 20 years to try and get both myself, Dean, Marshall and James in a game together. It was originally the four of us that started in the backyard, playing from, sunrise to sunset, and it was really a nice moment to be able to present them with their caps and have them make their official debut for the club.